Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. We're going to make this a quick show. NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs from yesterday. Look ahead to tonight's playoff games in each sport. Major League Baseball, soccer, my latest NFL mock draft, a portfolio pick, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with the NBA playoffs. We'll go over the results from yesterday, and we have 3 games tonight, so that is good. Heat over the Bucks, 119-117. Lakers over the Grizzlies, 117-111 in overtime, as both the Heat and the Lakers take 3-1 series leads. Tonight, 7:30 TNT, the Hawks and the Celtics. Celtics can close out the Heat, or the Hawks, to move on to the second round to face the Philadelphia 76ers. Or Atlanta could force a Game 6, and that would be played on Friday. The Celtics are giving 13, total 229.5. No DeJounte Murray in this game. I'm going to pick the over for the game. And I think the Celtics cover too. 9 o'clock NBA TV, Timberwolves Nuggets, Game 5. Denver can close out, or Mini can force a Game 6. Denver's favored by 9.5, total 221. I like that over too. And I think, I would say Denver, at gunpoint, Denver closes out. And then Clippers, Suns, 10 o'clock TNT. I have Suns 14.5, total 226, and 320. It's 12.5 and 224. And this is another over, so I have 3 overs to give out in a row. But part of me thinks that one of these home favorites is going to lose. I just don't know which one. If you ask me which one's most likely to lose, I'd say it's Denver. Because of the possibility of Anthony Edwards just going crazy. And it's not in its process of elimination because DeJounte Murray's out for Atlanta and Kawhi and Paul George are out for the Clips. So, and Kyle Anderson's out for Mini, but I think they can win without slow-mo. So, I would say Minnesota's the most likely dog to win outright, if there was one. All right, now I'll move on to hockey. We'll go over the playoff results from last night and look ahead to tonight's playoff window. Devils over the Rangers 3-1. They even up the series at 2 apiece after the Rangers were up 2-0 in the series. Leafs come back from 4-1 down to beat the Lightning 5-4 in overtime on a game winner by Alexander Kerfoot, as the Leafs go up 3-1 this series, which is absolutely stunning. Golden Knights over the Jets 4-2, as Vegas takes a 3-2 series lead. And the Kraken over the Avalanche 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Jordan Eberle to even up this baby at 2 apiece. So, a really interesting day in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and every game came down to the end. 2 overtime games and 2 games put away on empty nets. All right, only 3 tonight. ESPN 7 o'clock. You have the Islanders and the Hurricanes. Canes can close out the Islanders, or will the Isles force a Game 6? Canes minus 160, Isles plus 132, over under 5.5, overs plus 118, unders minus 144. Unders plus 1.5 is minus 200. The Canes minus 1.5 is plus 164. I could say the Islanders forcing a Game 6. I feel like I've picked them every game in this series, which is crazy. But I think there's a possibility this goes to overtime. So I'm going to say there will be overtime at plus 310. 8 o'clock on TPS, you have the Wild and the Stars. Game 5. Stars minus 144. Wild plus 120. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 104. Unders minus 128. Wild plus 1.5 is minus 215. Stars minus 1.5 is plus 176. So this is a 2-2 series. I thought this was sneakily the best series of the first round. This game went over twice, and then it was 3-2 the other times. So I'm going to give out the same pick as I did in the Islander game. I'm going to say there will be overtime at plus 350. 9:30 ESPN Kings Oilers game 5. Oilers minus 225. Kings plus 184 over under 6.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Kings plus 1.5 is minus 137. Oilers minus 1.5 is plus 114. The overs in this series have been no-brainer, except for Game 3 and Game 2. So the overs 2 and 2 in this series. So that's not what I thought. So for this one, I'm going to go full game over minus 118, but I don't feel good about it. All right, now we'll move on to MLB. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to the games for today. Rockies over the Guardians 6-0. Orioles over the Red Sox 5-4. Rays over the Astros 8-3. So best bet was a loser. Reds over the Rangers 7-6. Blue Jays over the White Sox 5-2. Braves over the Marlins 11-0. Twins over the Yankees 6-1. Tigers over the Braves 4-2. A's over the Angels 11-10-10. D-backs over the Royals 5-4. Giants over the Cardinals 4-0. All right, tonight's game, 6 o'clock. You have the Rockies and the Guardians again. Ryan Feltner and Peyton Battlefield. Rockies are plus 172. Guardians minus 205. Over under 8. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 113. Guardians minus 1.5 is minus 106. For this one, we're going to go under Rockies runs. Under 3 Rockies runs plus 102. Battenfield's been pretty decent this year. 6:30 of the Red Sox and the Orioles. Corey Kluber and Kyle Bradish. O's minus 156. Red Sox plus 132. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 128. Unders plus 104. Boston plus 1.5 is minus 50. O's minus 1.5 is plus 125. For this one, I'm going to go under 4.5 runs plus 102. To make sure I got that right. Oh, wait. I clicked on O's runs by mistake, so take that back. I thought that said Red Sox runs. So full game under instead. Dodgers Pirates. Noah Syndergaard and Johan Oviedo. Dodgers minus 132. Pittsburgh plus 112. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Dodgers minus 1.5 is plus 126. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 152. We got Pittsburgh to win outright plus 112. They're 16-7. That's hard to bet against. Astros Rays. Luis Garcia, Drew Rasmussen. Rays minus 166. Astros plus 140 over under 8. Overs minus 102. And there's minus 120. Stros plus 1.5 is minus 140. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 116. For this one, I'm going to go over Astros runs. Over 3.5 Astros runs at plus 106. Mariners, Phillies. Logan Gilbert and Bailey Falter. Mariners minus 120, Phillies plus 102 over under 8.5, minus 110 trade. Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 130, Phillies plus 1.5 is minus 156. I like the over. Rangers, Reds. Martin Perez and Luke Weaver. Rangers minus 146, Reds plus 124 over under 9.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Rangers plus 1.5 or minus 1.5 is plus 105. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 126. For this one, I'm going to go over 5 Rangers runs, minus 112. 7 o'clock, White Sox, Blue Jays, Mike Clevenger, Jose Barrios. Blue Jays minus 198, White Sox plus 166, over under 9. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 115. Blue Jays minus 1.5 is minus 104. I'm going to go with... Oh, I can't do that. I was going to go over on the White Sox runs. I'm going to go a full game over 9, minus 115 instead. Nats, Mets. Josiah Gray, we don't know who's going for the Mets. FanDuel doesn't have it posted. Let me check. DraftKings. Really quickly. And they don't. So I'm sorry I don't have a pick for that one. Marlins, Braves at 7:20. Brian Hoeing and Charlie Morton. Braves minus 240. Marlins plus 198. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Marlins plus 1.5 is plus 104. Braves minus 1.5 is minus 125. I'm going to go over 5 Braves runs, minus 114. 7:30 Yanks, Twins, Nestor Cortez, Joe Ryan. Twins minus 126, Yanks plus 108, over under 7, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Yanks plus 1.5 is minus 105, Twins minus 1.5 is plus 160. I'm going to go with the Yankees straight up, plus 108. I think they're due for like a bounce back offensive performance. Tigers, Brewers, Spencer Turnbull, Eric Lauer. Brewers minus 174, Tigers plus 146, over under 8.5, minus 110 each way. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 137, Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 114. Full game over. Padres, Cubs, Blake Snell and Justin Steele. Wow, the Cubs are favored. Minus 126, Padres plus 108, over under 7.5. Overs minus 128, unders plus 104. Padres plus 1.5 is minus 200. Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 164. For this one, I'm going to go with under 3.5 Padre runs at minus 104. 9:30 A's, Angels, Mason Miller and Griffin Canning. Angels minus 184, A's plus 154, over under 9. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. A's plus 1.5 is minus 128. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 106. For this one, I don't feel good about him going Oakland under 3.5 runs, plus 102. Royals, D-backs, Brady Singer and Ryan Nelson. D-backs minus 136, Royals plus 116, over under 9.5. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 152. Diamondbacks minus 1.5 is plus 126. I'm going full game over 9.5 for that one. 9:45 Cardinals, Giants, Jake Woodford and John Brebbia. And that game is not posted to FanDuel either. I'm going to do a quick check and see if DraftKings has it. And they do. Actually, no, that was Wednesday's game. Oops. So they don't have this one. But Gunpoint St. Louis I would pick as a dog if they're not favored. All right, now move on to soccer. Not much soccer to discuss. We'll just go over what's necessary. We had the Serie A yesterday. Atalanta over AS Roma 3-1. And then English League Championship yesterday, Luton over Borough 2-1. And today we have 3 o'clock, you have Blackburn and Burnley. I'm gonna pull up the odds right now. Blackburn's plus 250, Burnley's plus 110, draw plus 220. We'll go with Burnley on the road at plus 110 for that one. English Premier League today, 3 games. 2:30 we have Wolves and Crystal Palace. Wolves plus 155, Crystal Palace 2-1, and the draw's 2-1. I'm gonna go with the draw 2-1. 245. Aston Villa and Fulham. Aston Villa's minus 130, Fulham's plus 350, draws plus 280. I'm gonna go under 2.5 goals at plus 106. And at 3 o'clock you have Leeds and Leicester. Leeds plus 130, Leicester 2-1, draws plus 250. I'm gonna go with the draw here at plus 250. Then we also have some CONCACAF today. 10 o'clock we have Tigres and Leon, first leg semifinals. It's going to be an interesting CONCACAF here. Tigres is minus 160, Leon's plus 370, the draw is plus 280. For this one, I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at minus 114. All right, so that's really it for notable soccer. Now I'm going to do an NFL mock draft. We're doing them all week until Thursday, since the draft is Thursday, and probably Wednesday night we'll do the draft preview show. So this is 8 mock drafts for me. All right, number 1, the Carolina Panthers from the Chicago Bears. Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. It's felt like a foregone conclusion for about a couple of days now that Bryce Young was going to be the pick here. Young's height may have some people concerned, but we've seen shorter quarterbacks have success before, and Young has this ability to be successful. Number 2, the Houston Texans, Will Anderson, edge, Alabama. It's seeming very likely that the Texans will pass on the quarterback of the selection, which would be a mistake unless it's a trade down. Anderson is arguably the best player in this whole draft, and he has great length, and he'll provide stability at the position. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals, Tyree Wilson, edge, Texas Tech. With Anderson off the board, the Cardinals go with the player whose stock is rising in Wilson. There are comparisons to last year's first overall pick, Trayvon Walker, in terms of his long-term upside, and he has a high motor in which he can take over games. For the Indianapolis Colts, C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. The Colts are really telling some lies to people because the rumor mill changes by the day with them. It's stunning that there's talk of Stroud falling considering he is a strong pocket passer and has great accuracy. 5, the Seattle Seahawks from the Denver Broncos. Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida. The Seahawks have a golden opportunity here to take their quarterback to the future, even after paying Geno Smith all that money. Richardson is super interesting as a prospect due to his raw potential, which has folks comparing him to Lamar Jackson. 6, the Detroit Lions from the Los Angeles Rams. Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia. This would be an outstanding pick for the Lions if this is the selection, but he's falling due to off-field issues. The Lions have a need on their pass rush, and Carter is one of the best 3 players in this whole draft and has drawn comparisons to Aaron Donald due to his on-field demeanor. 7, the Las Vegas Raiders. Devin Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois. The Raiders have been in the quarterback rumors again, but here they get themselves a great player with Witherspoon. He's super polished and super tough, but there are questions about his frame. 8, the Atlanta Falcons. Nolan Smith, edge, Georgia. There are Bijan Robinson rumors here, but there's no way the Falcons should go there, and they must address other needs on defense in particular. Some feel that Smith is the best pure pass rusher in the draft, but not as well-rounded as Will Anderson. And he has great energy and is advanced off the edge. 9, the Chicago Bears. Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, Ohio State. The Bears have some options here with the selection, and this time I have them getting much-needed protection for Justin Fields. Johnson is a versatile player and can come in and start right away. 10, the Philadelphia Eagles from the New Orleans Saints. Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, guard, Northwestern. I absolutely love the idea of Skoronski on the Eagles, and he'd be a great fit. He's a versatile player and could end up being the long-term replacement for Lane Johnson. 11, the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. The Titans are another team that is lying to some folks whether they're going for a quarterback or if they won't and run it back with Ryan Tannehill. There was talk about the Texans taking Levis at 2, and some feel he's the best passer in the class. 12, the Houston Texans from the Cleveland Browns. Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver, Ohio State. The Texans did a great job in the Deshaun Watson trade, and it could change their franchise for the better. The Texans need a good young receiver to focus their offense on, and Smith-Njigba is great in the slot. 13, the Green Bay Packers from the New York Jets. Myles Murphy, edge, Clemson. The Packers and Jets finally pulled the trigger on the trade, and now the team swap ticks, and the Packers are rebuilding. Murphy could drop further due to a hamstring injury, but he is fast and has the size to be an impactful pass rusher. 14, the New England Patriots. Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee. No one should be surprised by which direction the Patriots go in, and offensive line is a need. Wright had a great season in college and a great pro day to make things better, and he is an excellent pass blocker at either side of the line. 15, the New York Jets from the Green Bay Packers. Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, Georgia. Now that Aaron Rodgers is a Jet, they have to get him some protection. Jones is athletic, and he had major success against SEC defenses, which bodes well for the team drafting him. 16, the Washington Commanders. Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon. This would be among the biggest steals of the entire draft if Gonzalez were to fall this far. Gonzalez should go in the top 10 due to being such a ball hawk and his size and speed. 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joey Porter Jr., quarterback, Penn State. Steelers fans would love this pick considering Porter not only played college in the state, but his father was a longtime Steelers player. Porter Jr. is a very physical player and would fit nicely in today's league, but gets very handsy. 18, Detroit Lions. Deontay Banks, cornerback, Maryland. The third cornerback in a row comes off the board here with the Lions taking Banks with their second first-rounder. He put together a really good season in college and is big and physical who can match up with NFL receivers. 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brian Branch, safety, Alabama. The Bucks are another team in the NFC that is suddenly rebuilding, but here they land a possible star safety. Branch is someone that actually didn't run as fast as the combine that he usually can, but excels off the edge, can tackle, and is solid in coverage. 20, Seattle Seahawks. Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC. The Seahawks should go defense here, but they get themselves a wideout to go with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to make that unit loaded. Addison is a great route runner and is mostly used in the slot. 21, the Los Angeles Chargers. Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. There was a while where it felt like a foregone conclusion. It was going to be a skilled offensive player here. But there are some rumors here about a defensive player. Flowers was an electric player in college, and he would just be another fun add to that Chargers offense. 22, the Baltimore Ravens. Quentin Johnston, wide receiver, TCU. The Ravens need a wide receiver, even with the signing of Odell Beckham Jr. Johnston was perhaps the best wideout in college this past season, and he has great athleticism, hands, and running routes. 23, the Minnesota Vikings. Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback, Mississippi State. Forbes has been a hot name that's been emerging towards the end of the first round. Forbes isn't the strongest in terms of play strength, but has a great skill set and has really good length and excels at breaking up passes. 24, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lucas Van Ness, edge, Iowa. There's a strong possibility that Van Ness will get picked higher than this and maybe even in the top 10. Van Ness did not start in college, but his technique is excellent and has a high ceiling, which would vault the Jags' pass rush. 25, the New York Giants. Brian Brees, defensive tackle, Clemson. The Giants pass on a wide receiver and go with the interior defender in Brees. He dealt with a lot of off-field issues, but has high upside and is excellent at stopping the run, which the Giants could use help with. 26, the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Mayer, tight end, Notre Dame. You know Jerry Jones is dreaming about this moment. Dalton Schultz left as a free agent, and Mayer would be amazing in the Cowboy offense with his ability to run block and to stretch the field. 27, the Buffalo Bills. Bijan Robinson, running back, Texas. This would be some selection for the Bills, and it would change their offense for the better. Robinson is a top talent in this whole draft, and he would arguably be the best first-round running back drafted since Saquon Barkley. 28, the Cincinnati Bengals. Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah. The Bengals are among the contenders to go to the Super Bowl among AFC teams. Kincaid would make this offense more dangerous with his playmaking abilities, and there's a chance he goes higher than this due to his medical records being cleared. 29, New Orleans Saints from the San Francisco 49ers via Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos. Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, Michigan. Smith is a hot name now in terms of players who can get drafted at the end of the first round. The Saints have a need at the position, and Smith closes down running lanes and passing windows. 30, the Philadelphia Eagles. Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh. This would be a nice pick for the Eagles as it's a long-term position of need. Kancey has drawn unfair comparisons to Aaron Donald because they both went to Pitt and play the same position. But he has short arms, super fast, and the Eagles would maximize his strengths. 31, the Kansas City Chiefs. Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver, Tennessee. There's a ton of buzz about the Chiefs potentially trading up to the teams to get a wide receiver. Hyatt is coming off an amazing season in college, and he could work both inside and outside and stretches the field well. So there you have it for the mock draft, and now I'm going to make a future pick for the portfolio. I'm going to go with another NFL draft future for the second consecutive week. Last week I made the pick of Myles Murphy going 8th to Atlanta. For this portfolio selection, I am looking at the Eagles at 10. The Bears at 9. Who's 8? Oh, Atlanta, we already did that. 7's the Raiders. But I really like team to draft certain players. And I felt there was some value on a couple of these teams to draft a player in particular. I had this just in my mock draft. And that is Bijan Robinson to the Buffalo Bills. It's 30-1. They need that game changer on offense. It's 30-1. I'm laying $10 on it. I'm laying a tenth of a unit. The Buffalo Bills to draft Bijan Robinson at 30-1. And when I do the draft show, there'll be more portfolio stuff added for the NFL draft. Don't worry. All right, news and notes for today. We mentioned it earlier. The big news of yesterday is that the Aaron Rodgers trade is finally official. He is now a New York Jet. And the deal involves the 2 first-round picks. It was pretty much a pick swap for this year. The Packers also get the Jets' second rounder for this year. There's a 5th-round pick going to the Jets in the deal. And there's a conditional 2nd-round pick in there that'll turn into a 1st-round pick if Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, which is absolutely doable for Rodgers, assuming he doesn't get hurt. And so, yeah, Jets get Aaron Rodgers, the 15th pick in a 2023 5th. Packers get the 13th pick, a 2023 2nd, which is the 42nd pick. A 6th-round pick, 207. And then a conditional 2024 2nd-round pick. That becomes a first if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays. I think both teams did great in this deal. I really do. This is a win-win. I'm glad it all worked out. But the bottom line is that the Jets got Aaron freaking Rodgers. And now, all of a sudden, they're a contender in the AFC, whether you like it or not. And this roster is really good. If they had above-average quarterback play, who knows? Maybe they would have stolen the AFC East last year, for what we know. Maybe they would have gotten the 5 seed, but they would have certainly been a playoff team. And this is a great deal for both sides. And Adam Schefter actually broke the news live, which was amazing. He's like, breaking news. Like they're talking about something else, and then Schefter broke it on the air, which was pretty cool. Cool Shefty moment. And literally the NFL Live crew was shook. The Commanders could move back in this year's draft to accumulate more assets for 2024 as they may wait on Caleb Williams. I think a lot of teams might do that, because everybody loves Caleb Williams and thinks he's going to be a big star. And I feel that way about him too. But that's next year. And I don't think Washington's going to be the only one to do it. Peter King said that C.J. Stroud, not a lock to go top 7, which is crazy. As I mentioned earlier, Texans likely passing on a quarterback, and Houston's most likely outcome is, at number 2, is taking Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson, which would be wild. Listen, if you're passing on a quarterback, you trade and get more assets. I mean, Atlanta passed on a quarterback for Kyle Pitts. The Giants passed on Josh Allen for Saquon Barkley. Not that we thought Josh Allen was going to be the best quarterback at the time from that draft class. But they did pass on a quarterback for Saquon Barkley. The Cowboys took Ezekiel Elliott. But the difference there is that they were actually closer to contending than the Giants and the Falcons were, with Matt Ryan and Eli Manning, respectively. I mean, I understand the Pittsburgh Steelers going with Najee Harris when they did. Like, that was completely understandable, because they were a better team than the Giants and the Falcons. We've seen several examples of this, and it usually doesn't work out. Just ask Atlanta. Just ask the Giants. So, we'll see. There's a thin market for Trey Lance. As John Lynch says, there hasn't been many offers for Lance. I think there's a lot of smoke, he said. The Broncos could take a quarterback in the 3rd round, as they're expected to sniff around Purdue's Aiden O'Connell with the 67th and 68th picks in the draft. That's crazy. The Bucs won't trade Devin White, as Todd Bowles says the team will not be honoring his request for a trade. We expect him to be here when the season starts. This is unfortunate. Deion Sanders loses 18 players and counting as they have entered the transfer portal after Sanders' first spring game at the helm in Colorado. Yikes. That's crazy. Aaron Rodgers will number 8, same number he wore at Cal, and that's in spite of Joe Namath giving Rodgers the blessing to wear number 12. Las Vegas won't draft a quarterback at 7, as there's a belief around the league that the Raiders will instead target a corner after a failed move up to number 1. So Kawhi's out for tonight. We talked about that. DeJounte Murray suspended after making contact with an official at the end of Game 4. Ime Udoka has his new job. He will be coaching in Houston. After a lot of people thought Nick Nurse was going there. So that is a great hire for the Rockets, who are trying to get out of the cellar of the West. Good young team. And I'm happy for Ime Udoka. I'm happy for him. I know it didn't work out in Boston with that situation he had. And he got fired as a result of it. But he was a good coach. He took that team to the finals. Not suggesting they're going to become a contender right away, Houston. But they'll certainly be better than 25 wins with Ime Udoka, you would think. And there's a lot of talk that James Harden might go back to Houston, so that's why everybody's saying, like, oh, he went there because he knows he's getting Harden. But we'll see when that happens. I mean, the Sixers are still playing postseason basketball right now, so no sense of speculation about James Harden. Dylan Brooks says that he is a villain, as he thinks media and fan perception of him has led to his ejection on the LeBron play from the other night. We talked about Kyle Anderson missing tonight's game due to the eye injury. Big blow for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox doubtful for Game 5 with a fractured index finger on his shooting hand. Wow. Like, a week ago, we're talking about the Kings being up 2-0, and now they're 2-2, and arguably their best players hurt. Giannis came back for the Bucks last night after missing games 2 and 3, but it didn't matter because the Heat won as the Bucks blew that big lead. Victor Oladipo having knee surgery as recovery time for his injury, typically 1 year. I feel so bad for Victor Oladipo. I just don't see him playing basketball anymore. Major League Baseball unveils Armed Forces caps as teams will be wearing them for Armed Forces Weekend. Rob Manfred defends the Oakland A's owner as he says John Fisher doesn't deserve blame, calling out Oakland government after deal to move them to Las Vegas. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. Believe it or not, I'm going to go with soccer for best bet. Nothing jumped out at me in basketball, hockey, or baseball. It was in the English Championship where I like the pick. Burnley's up to plus 115, which is nuts. So I'm going to take Burnley on the road plus 115, a quarter unit to knock off Blackburn on the road. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to everything. Tomorrow we'll try to get American Idol in. And we also have another mock draft and then the draft preview show with predictions and such as well. Have a great one, everyone.